In this day and age, Jainism and Buddhism are considered very important religions. In fact, more than 7 million people follow Jainism and more than 535 million people follow Buddhism. So there must be a few similarities and differences between these religions. So now let's try and compare these two. Now, before we do that, let's try to understand why these new religions came up. You see, this was the later Vedic age, and during this time, there were a few problems in Hinduism. You see, there were now complex and expensive rituals in Hinduism which could not be afforded by the lower class people. So, only the higher class people who were rich could afford such rituals and sacrifices, right? So, what was happening because of all of this? Now, the lower class people, they felt further away from their god and they could not afford such rituals and ceremonies. Now you see, during this point of time, there was a caste system in which there were some people who were more important. These people were the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas who were exploiting the lower caste people, who were the Vaishyas and the Shudras. So these Vaishyas and Shudras, they felt exploited and very bad, and so they also felt further away from their god because they could not get in easy access to their own religious books, which were also written in the language that was used by the upper caste people. So in Hinduism, there was no equality. Now what happened? Now, when these new spiritual leaders came in, who were Gautama Buddha and Vardhamana Mahavira, when they came in, they started preaching equality. According to them, every one of us is equal, right? And so this made people realize that anyone can achieve nirvana or moksha, that is enlightenment. So all of us are equal, irrespective of our jobs or where we are born, right? So all of us are equal, and therefore we can all achieve moksha or nirvana. And so because the concept of equality was there in these new religions, people started following them. Now let's see a few differences between Jainism and Buddhism. First of all, Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, who after gaining enlightenment got the name Gautam Buddha, whereas Jainism was founded by Vardhamana, who got the name Mahavira. Buddhism was founded by Gautama Buddha, who was born in 563 BCE and died at the age of 80 in 483 BCE, whereas Jainism was founded by Vardhamana Mahavira, who was born in 599 BCE and died in 527 BCE. Other than that, after achieving nirvana, he got the name Buddha. Buddha means the enlightened one, the one that has all the knowledge, whereas Mahavira, after achieving Kaivalya, became Jina or conqueror because he had conquered his inner self. So now let's come to their main teachings. In Buddhism, the main teachings include the Four Noble Truths. What are these? These are the truth of suffering, which means that everyone must suffer. The truth of cause of suffering, that all suffering has a reason, a cause behind it. Truth of end of suffering, that is, we find out what the reason behind this suffering is, which is our own endless desires. And truth of path, that ends the suffering, which is the eightfold path, about which we will learn later on. In Jainism, the major teaching is Triratna, which is the right action, right knowledge, and right faith. Other than that, in Buddhism, we have the eightfold path, which include right action, right intent, right speech, right mindfulness, right livelihood, right view, right effort, and right concentration. So it is said that by following this eightfold path, one can achieve nirvana. Other than that, to become a true Buddhist, a Buddhist must follow the three jewels. What are these? These are Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So Buddha is gaining enlightenment, Dharma means following the teachings of Buddha, and Sangha means the community of Buddhists, where these people live together in monasteries, right? So these people help each other attain enlightenment. Whereas in Jainism, one must follow the 5 vows. What are these? These include non-violence or ahimsa. As we already learned that the main teaching of Jainism is that one must never hurt any other living being, right? So ahimsa or non-violence is one of the vows. Other than that, there is truth, that is, one must always be truthful. We have non-stealing, That means that we should not take what isn't ours. We should not steal someone else's things. Other than that, there is non-possessiveness. That means that we should give up everything. We should not possess or own anything. Lastly, we have self-restraint. So these are the 5 vows. Other than that, what is important to observe is the language that was used by both of these people. In Buddhism, Pali was used for the spread of these teachings, whereas in Jainism, the language Prakrit was used. Both of these languages were the languages of the common people. Other than that, we have some important texts. These are the Jataka tales and 3 Pitakas in Buddhism, whereas the 12 Angas and 14 Purvas in Jainism. Later on, we come to know that Buddhism and Jainism both suffered a split. So Buddhism split into Hinayana Buddhism and Mahayana Buddhism, whereas Jainism split into Digambaras and Shwetambaras. Other than that, where did these religions spread to? Well, Buddhism from India spread to Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia and China. However, where did Jainism spread to? You see, Jainism got restricted to India. Now, despite a few differences between these religions, there were also a few similarities. So let's see what these religions believed in. Both of these religions believed in the concept of karma. What is this? Well, it basically means that if you do good, good things will happen to you. Whereas if you do bad deeds, then bad things will happen to you. They also believed in the concept of rebirth. This concept was so important to them that both these teachers, Buddha as well as Mahavira, preached how to get free from this cycle of rebirth. They both strongly believed in the concept of ahimsa or non-violence, which means that we should never hurt another soul. They also believed in equality. This is why a lot of people from the lower castes in Hinduism were instantly attracted towards these religions, because in these religions everyone was equal. And finally, both these religions also believed in enlightenment or gaining knowledge about everything. Now let's see what these two religions rejected. Firstly, they rejected God. According to them, the entire concept of God was beyond human understanding. So both of these religions rejected God. They also rejected the caste system, which was treating people unfairly. Right? That is why the concept of equality was so important in these religions. Both of these religions also rejected expensive and meaningless rituals. According to both of these religions, expensive and meaningless rituals were not important. What was important was that we connect our souls to the divine power. Now, both of these religions rejected Sanskrit. Why was it so? This is because during that point of time, the upper caste people, they were using Sanskrit, and the lower caste people were talking in Prakrit or Pali, right? Other than that, what was happening is that their religious texts in Hinduism were also written in Sanskrit. So the lower caste people felt further away from their gods. So when these new religions came in, they started preaching in the common man's language. And so this also led to the spread of both of these religions. Finally, as we already saw that these two new religions rejected the caste system and the expensive and meaningless rituals and ceremonies, so we can understand that they also rejected the authority of the Vedas. Now let's see some of the similarities between Mahavira and Gautama Buddha. Firstly, they both belonged to royal families and were Kshatriyas. They both belonged to royal families and they left their home in search for truth, right? So Mahavira left his house when he was 30 years old, whereas Gautama Buddha, he left his house when he was 29 years old. So both of these people belonged to royal families and ultimately left their houses. Other than that, it is interesting to note that both of these people belonged to the Kshatriya caste, which was the upper caste back then. However, they both left their homes and preached for equality for everyone. And they were both born in the 6th century BCE. So where were they born? They were both born in the North Indian subcontinent. Mahavira was born in Vaishali, whereas Gautama Buddha was born in Lumbini, which is in present-day Nepal. Finally, they were both disturbed by the suffering and hardships of the common people, and that is why they left their houses to find the truth behind these suffering. Now let's see some of the similarities between these two religions. First of all, both of these religions came as a reform of Hinduism. So because Hinduism had become so complex and oppressive, people were tired of Hinduism, right? So now when these two new religions came in, it came in as a sigh of relief for the lower caste people, and that is why they were attracted to it. Now, other than that, both these religions later got divided into two sects. As we have already seen that Buddhism gets divided into Mahayana Buddhism and Hinayana Buddhism, whereas Digambaras and Shwetambaras are the two branches of Jainism. Both of these religions have their own religious texts. For example, the Pitakas for Buddhism and Angas and Purvas for Jainism. Now, lastly, both these religions focused on renouncing family life and all worldly desires. As we've already seen that both Buddha and Mahavira had left their homes. So, it is because they both believed that it is important to leave everything behind, to renounce your family and all of your possessions in search for truth and enlightenment. So these are some of the similarities between these two religions. So even though both of these religions had so many similarities and differences, they were both born around 2500 years ago, and their teachings inspired so many people that even in this day and age, more than 7 million people follow Jainism all over the world, whereas Buddhism today is the fourth largest religion in the world, followed by more than 535 million people. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free on deltastep.com or download the DeltaStep app and get easy access to more than 5,000 amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million+ questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and get a chance to win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it's rewarding too. So register for free now.